Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Magehammer's Game Table, where tonight I begin episode 1 featuring my Delves and Dangers Rules Light Fantasy Role-Playing Game Definitive Edition. I am going to be running a dungeon delve. That's pretty much the main focus of this game when I designed it, though it can be used for any kind of role-playing situation technically. But dungeon delves are where it hits its sweet spot. So with that in mind, I've decided I'm going to run an extended dungeon delve, and we'll see where that takes us. As you know, when I solo roleplay, I use a combination of having kind of a backstory, but also then randomly seeing where the dice and the cards take me. Cards being the Deck of Many Dungeons. When I do dungeon delves, I use the Deck of Many Dungeons deck and expansion because it is awesome and it gives me a little bit of randomness without so I get a little bit of surprise as I go through the story as well. So this is going to take place in the Swordlands. A fan of mine made me this map and I am eternally grateful. It's really stinking cool. And the adventure is going to be taking place in the Swordlands, and it's going to be west of Northgate in the Storm Hills here. So in the session 0, I'd suggest you go find it, give it a watch so you can see these characters really properly introduced. But there is a Spell League Expeditionary Squad led by Grandin Hendelstone. He is a newish recruit to the Spell League. Spell League is an organization of wizards that does what they can to go out and find the spells and arcane spell casting scrolls, spell books, and as many as they can find that are lost in the many delves underneath the Swordlands. He has hired Kranos Silverbark, who is an elven knight, basically a warrior in my game, but he lives by a code of elven ethics. Plate mail and shield. For his stealth and trap springers and stealth specialist, he has hired Claudia Softpaw. She is a Fellcat thief. And then for some healing and clerical backup, he has hired Theo Shieldfoot, and he is a Harefoot cleric of Retha, goddess of luck. So he has assembled his team, and they are leaving Northgate, the Spell League headquarters in Northgate, and they're heading toward the Storm Hills, because the Spell League has come into information that a group of gem miners in the Storm Hills stumbled upon a since forgotten delve that the Spell League has in good knowledge could be the delve of Kendrazer the Crass, who was a wizard from over a century or so ago, who made a delve and used it as his hiding place from which he launched many attacks on the surrounding villages, Northgate, and recruited humanoids, recruited all kinds of different creatures, and then was defeated by some Northgate adventurers out of Northgate, as the story goes, about a century ago. But the adventurers returned, but not much else was known about Kendrazer the Crass. They never really brought back anything of his from the delve, claiming that it had been covered over, the entrance had been covered over, and they were not able to bring it back. But that's what the lore says, as far as the lore the Spell League has access to, but they're pretty sure that this is the delve of Kendrazer the Crass. Something very interesting about him, according to their lore, is that his spell book was a metal cylinder, and he had engraved in it all of his spells, which makes it a little more permanent, and the Spell League would like to get their hands on that. And some say that there's even some kind of death spell he developed that can kill with a word. So they're very interested in finding that spell and keeping it out of the wrong hands. So they're not 100% sure that it is the delve of Kendrazer the Crass. However, they are sending a rookie and his team to find out if it is. And if it is, they can go in, see what they can find, and if they survive, they can bring it back to the Spell League headquarters, and it can be properly archived and put away for posterity. So the adventure takes up. They have left Northgate, and it is a week's travel to the delve. They have a map that the miners have provided and were paid well for, by the way, and they are leaving now. They've decided not to take mounts, as mounts were not very good in the Storm Hills, very rugged country. And not only that, they don't want to have to deal with the upkeep and so forth. So they'd rather take a little longer to get there rather than take the horses. So they're going to have to travel over very rough terrain for over a week. But because it is rough terrain, it's actually going to take 10 days. So we're going to roll randomly to see if they are going to run into any unpleasant encounters. So the way I'm going to handle encounters here is that I'm going to roll for an encounter. And I'm going to roll and see if it's a encounter with a creature or encounter with something else. And so we're going to go the day and the night, first day and night out. We're going to see the red die is going to be daytime. The gray die will be nighttime. And so what we'll do is if it rolls an encounter, then I'll roll another die to see if it is actually an encounter with a creature or whether it is an encounter with some other form. And I'm going to keep track of things here on this 20-sided die. So this is the first night, first day and night. All right, so a 1 or a 2, there is an encounter. So this is a 1 on these dice. So good old-fashioned Warhammer dice. Who put the skull on the 1, because if you rolled a 1 in Warhammer, that is not great. All right, anyway, so there's the first day, there is an encounter during the day. Now, I'm going to roll to see. Let's go 50-50 chances something, a creature or something else. So 1, 2, 3, it's a creature. 4, 5, 6 is something else. It is going to be something else. So something else for me is going to be the weather, and it starts to rain miserably. And they're traveling along. They're very, very miserable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them, and they're going to spend the night. They set up camp. They travel through the rugged hills. It's miserable. It's cold. It's raining. And they're very, very miserable. And I'm going to roll to see if any of them catch a cold. So I'm going to say there's a very easy chance they don't. So I'm just going to say it's a DL2 strength resistance roll. So for Grandin, he needs 2 successes, and he gets it, so he doesn't catch a cold. Then Kranos, he's an elf, so I'm going to give him an extra die just because they tend to be a little more resistant to disease. DL2, his strength resistance is 4, so he's actually rolling 5 dice. He just needs 2 successes, and he gets it. Oh, barely. So there. Oh, by the way, while I'm rolling for Claudia, I have decided to use daring dice. So I'm going to be using daring dice. Those of you that are familiar with my game, Daring and Dangers, that's where I introduced daring dice into this kind of universal system I have here for gaming. They can be used for various ways that you're going to see going in here. Also, each one of them, Theo has created each one of them a healing stone, and Theo has enough power to make himself 2. So he has 2 healing stones, and they have 1. So there is that. So daring dice are being used. Let's see if Claudia gets sick. So she has a strength resistance of 2. And she gets an exploding die and a success, so she does not get sick. And let's see if the Harefoot gets sick. And he does not. So nobody catches a cold. They pass the night eventfully. And so we move into the second day. Remember, this is 10 days. So this is going to be, And as they're going, they're getting to know each other. They're talking, exchanging tales. Oh, so we're going to have another daytime encounter. So 1, 2, 3, it is a creature. 4, 5, 6, it is something else. And it is something else. We're going to call it a rock slide. So they're going up this particularly steep hill. And suddenly the land gets out from under them and they start tumbling down a hill. And we're going to see they have to make agility resistance rolls of 2 is fine to see if they can avoid any damage. So just DL2. All right, so Theo is fine. Claudia is fine. Kranos, he takes a D3 damage. 2. So he's going to take 2 damage. And then Grandin is fine. So Kranos limps the rest of the day. And then by evening, they use a healing stone, and he's fine. And then the healing stone recharges overnight, and the night passes uneventfully, as we already saw. So we're going into the 3rd day. The rain has ceased. It's no longer a mist, and now it's just it is getting to be. It is what our equivalent of autumn here in the Swordlands. So some days a little warmer, some days a little cooler. This one's a little bit cooler, but at least there's no rain. So this is the 3rd day of travel, and they have a night and day encounter. So we will do the day encounter first, and this time it's going to be a creature. So we are now going to use my Delves and Dangers encounter table. These are part of the download for the rules Delves and Dangers PDF that you can order on itch.io at the link in the description below. It's a pay what you want. If you have not downloaded this game, it's free to try, or if you'd like to donate some money to me so I can, do this stuff a little easier, you can do so. Otherwise, you can just, for free, give it a shot, play it, and let me know how it goes. Anyway, so these encounter tables are up there. So I'm going to roll on this 1st and 2nd level characters. The gray die will be the 10s, quote unquote, 31. All right, so during the day, they're traveling along, and let's go. Yeah, okay. So, I don't think I got my wilderness tiles out, and I need to get these minis. I have the minis nearby, but get some wilderness tiles. Okay, and I'm back. Thank you for that little intermission. So, we're traveling along, and they're going to come into a clearing. And we shall see where this goes. Based on the creatures that they're encountering, I think it's going to be fairly open to them. Ooh, there's some giant skeleton bones and a fallen tree. So that's where we are. Get most of that on camera. PowerPoint. All right, and so they're going to enter in from this direction. They are technically traveling east. Kranich leading the way. All right, so now get my miniatures for all of us to enjoy. And I've already mentioned, I would like to thank people while I'm looking for these miniatures. I'd really like to thank everybody that has downloaded my game and has shared their experiences with it up on the internet. I'd also like to take this opportunity to mention my Facebook fan page. You can head over there and join in on the conversations and the experience people are having with my games and my channel. We have some good, lively discussions there. It's a lot of fun. And you can find I really like the community I've been building there. I mean, people have been very, very receptive and very supportive, and everybody helps each other out over there, gives advice. People put up some alternate stuff for the game. And so it's a cool place to hang out. That's Magehammer Game Table fan page. All right, so I don't have a ton of these particular miniatures, so I'm going to have to proxy in some things, which I'm sure you won't mind too much. Use your imaginations, folks. I'm going to say that there is... I'm just going to go one per adventurer, so this will do. So climbing up out of the ground, making their way across, appear to be, well, not appear to be, they are giant ants. And for whatever reason, these ants are a bit territorial. So they are going, they sense the movement of the party, and they may also think they are food, so they approach, and it's initiative. All right, so we're going to put initiative. We'll put initiative down here. All right, so in this game, everybody rolls an agility roll, and if they score 2 successes, they go before the creatures. If they don't, they go after. All right, so Softpaw's going before. Theo's going before. Ooh, double sixes, Grandin. Nice. Grandin's going before. Uh-oh. And so we have Kranos. He rolled an exploding die. Let's see. Yep. Everybody's going for the ants. So they see him a long ways off, and they are ready to defend themselves. They can tell those ants are swarming towards them, and they don't necessarily like that. So, Kranos, he's going to grab his sword, move up on the first ant, and attack. He gets to roll 8 dice with his long sword. And ants, let's bring up their stats in the rules. And we're going to get to it. So he swings his sword at the ant, as you can hear, the clicking noises that some ants make. And he is ready to go. I think they have pretty decent armor, because ants have, chitin and all that. There we go. So here we go. All right, so he swings with his sword, chunks into the creature's chitinous armor, natural armor, and he gets 1 exploding die, and he scores 3, 6. -2 is 4 off of the ant. Now, ants are fairly hardy creatures, so here we are. Okay, so he does that, and now it is... yeah, we'll go with Grandin. He is going to unleash just a magic bolt, I think, and he has 6 dice casting. So he's going to unleash a magic bolt at the one that Kranos attacks. He likes to focus his fire. Whoa, 3 exploding dice. Nice. All right, so that's 7 successes off of agility resistance, which for the ants is a 3. So he does 4 more damage to that ant, and that is not enough to bring it down. He is not going to use a daring die. Because they get 3 daring dice per session. Sometimes they can earn more throughout the session if something really, really cool happens. So Grandin's there, and Grandin kind of moves over behind this tree as to not gain any attention from the ravenous ants. All right, so that was Grandin. So now we move on to Theo or Claudia. Claudia, she doesn't, I didn't give her, yeah, she has a short bow. I don't have it on her character sheet, but she does have a short bow. So we're going to go with short bow. So she's going to take a shot. She's going to take a shot at a fresh ant. And she gets 3 successes, and that is enough to just merely wing the creature. All right. And then she moves into the trees here, getting ready to pop out, maybe use those. So then that brings us to Theo. Theo's going to go mix it up. He's going to run in there with his Warhammer and help gang up on the one that Kranich attacked to try to hopefully take it down. You know, focusing fire is always a good idea, he thinks. And so he gets 6 dice with that Warhammer, the favored weapon of his Goddess of Luck. And he gets 2 exploding dice. He is a Harefoot, so he gets to reroll a failed die. And then he gets 2 exploding dice. And man, that's a nice blow. So that's 5, 6, 7. Cracks that thing with his Warhammer. And minus the 2 armor brings it down to 5, which is more than enough to take out that ant. Giant ant, as they swarm towards the party. Now it's their attack. So this one swarms on him. This one saw Grandin goes and was after him. And then this one moves up on Kranich. So we will attack the gray dice. Giant ants attack with their pincers for 5 dice. So 5 gray and 5 red. Five gray and 5 red. The gray dice will be on Theo. The red dice will be on Kranich. Yikes. Yikes. All right, so the ant bites onto the Harefoot. Hits an exploding die. The Harefoot, Theo, he has armor 3, so it does not get through. He is able to avoid the blow with his shield and armor. Kranich, the ant attacking him, has 2 exploding dice and gets 4 total successes. But Kranich, with plate mail and a shield, has a 4 armor score, so he does not get through his armor. And then Grandin, who does not cast magic armor and does no armor currently. Uh-oh. So that's 3 successes and one of them an exploding die. So 3 gets through, so he takes 3 damage. So Grandin has now taken 3 damage. All right. Now it is initiative. So these ants must be really hungry. Oh man, so Theo gets to reroll a failed die and only 1 success, so he's going after the ants. Grandin's going after the ants because he only rolled 1 success. However, Claudia's going before, and Kranos is going before. Don't know why I want to keep calling him Kranich. All right, so she, being Claudia, is going to burst out of the trees and attack with her short sword. And now, since she is a thief, she has 5 dice with her short sword, but because it's in combat with a companion, she gets an additional 3 dice. Opportunistic attack. Ooh, my goodness, that's terrible. So that's 2 exploding dice. So that comes out to a mere 4 successes. That is enough to do 2 points of damage. So there we go. All right, so that was her attack. She's opening herself up to attack, but that's okay. And then Kranich is going to attack his opponent with 8 dice from his long sword. He is a Knight of Silvitar. Oh my gosh. Only 3 successes is a mere 1 damage. Doesn't do much damage at all. So, does only 1 point. Barely cracks through the chitin to do any kind of damage whatsoever. All right, so now it is the ants attack. So I'll go 1, 2, 3 on Claudia, 4, 5, 6 on Theo. It's going to be on Claudia, so it shifts its attack, and that's 5 dice on her. And that is 4 successes. And she has a armor of 2 because she's wearing ring mail. And so she takes 2 damage. So Claudia is taking 2 damage. Which now brings us to the attack on Kranos. And that is not enough. Only 3 successes, not enough to get through. And an attack on Grandin, who is in kind of trouble. I guess Claudia should have gone to help their employer. Oh, well, so that's 4 successes. He's going to take 4 more damage. Oh, and I forgot. Giant ants, I think, have poison. DL2 strength resistance roll, take an additional D3 points of damage. So let's retro that in a minute. So let me get him taken down 4 damage. All right. And then he's going to need to make 2 poison saves. So his strength resistance is 2. So the first one he did not make. So he takes an additional D3 damage. So he takes 1 more point of damage from this initial attack. I'm retroactively going back. The venom is just finally hitting his veins. And then the second attack that he's taken, he also fails that and takes D3 damage. That's 2 more damage. That is not great. The poison is burning up his veins. Then also, Claudia, she has to make a strength resistance roll of 2. And she also fails, taking an additional 2 points of damage. So the venom from these ants is starting to have an effect. Okay, so got that out of the way. Now we're going to move on to Grandin himself. He is going to hit this one with a magic bolt. Because that's, boom. Ooh, that might end up paying off. So he got 2 exploding dice. Nice. So that's 3, 6, 7 off of an agility resistance of 3. So that's 4 damage on the guy attacking him. And then he is going to roll a daring dice to add to that damage. So currently, what did I say it was? It was 4 and 4 more. So I'm going to spend a daring die to do. That's enough to fell the creature. So his magic bolt luckily takes out that ravenous ant, and he can kind of rest easy for now. And then that is Theo's attack, and Theo is going to swing with his warhammer at the one that he and Claudia are fighting. That's 6 dice, and that is only 4 successes. Reroll a failed roll because he's a harefoot, still a fail. And that is going to be 2 damage on the one they are fighting. Not enough to get down. He's not going to use a daring dice. So that brings us now to initiative. All right. The ants is hungry. Oof. So Kranos goes before, Grandin after. Theo gets to reroll failed dice, going after anyway. And oh my gosh, in a rare event, Claudia is going after the ants. This is not great. But they're poison. They are way more dangerous than we think. So that brings us to this attack. Will go either 1, 2, 3 Claudia, 4, 5, 6 Theo, going on Claudia. Attacks for 5 dice against an armor 2. And that's 3 successes, so she takes 1 damage. But she has to make a DL2 strength resistance roll, or she is going to take an additional D3 damage. And she fails, and she takes an additional... Oh, no, wait, that's not her roll. Her roll's here. Gotta use these cool dice. She fails. Okay, so she takes an additional D3 damage. That's 2 more damage, so ouch. The venom is burning her blood. And then the attack on Kranos. And that is 4 successes against 4 armor and does not harm him at all. So that was that. Wait, did I have Kranos attack? I don't think I did. Wait, he's the only one that did go. Oh, did I do? I must have done him first. Oh, well. Now he'll swing with his sword. I don't know how I missed that. Whoa! Holy moly. So he's got 1 exploding die, which brings him to 3, 6. Minus 2 is 4 damage on his opponent. Not enough to bring it down, but still in the fight. Then it's going to be Theo. Theo attacks with his Warhammer for 6 dice. He gets to reroll a failed die and gets 1 exploding die. And that is 2, 4, 6, 7. Minus 2, 5 damage, which fells the one he and Claudia have been fighting. So this ant has been smushed. And so that brings us to Claudia. She's going to swing around and attack from behind. That gives her a total of 8 dice with her attack because of her opportunistic attack ability as being a thief. And she gets 1 exploding die. And that's 5. Minus 2 is 3 damage on the ant. Not enough to bring it down. So we're going to roll initiative and see if they can. The ant itself is just, it's out of its mind. So we'll see how the initiative goes. If even one person goes before it, it's probably not long for this world. Whoa, Claudia is ready to go. Grandin is after. Kranos is before. Theo gets to reroll a failed die, and he goes before, so they're all going before. Except for Grandin. Okay, so we'll let Kranos do it. It was his opponent, so he's going to swing his longsword with 8 dice. Oh my goodness gracious, that's more than enough. He's got 2 exploding dice. Plus, this creature only has 2 stamina remaining, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8. Minus 2 is 6, and that is more than enough to finish off that ant. Well, that was something. Yes, yes it was. Big insects. I say, that was quite exhilarating. Well, good work, team. I think we've learned that we can work well together, so excellent work. All right, let us continue on our way. Healing stones all around. So Grandin's going to use a healing stone to heal himself. He heals himself 6. That's pretty good. Yes, their stingers really hurt. I think he'll just hold off on the healing stone for that. We'll see. And then Claudia also is going to use a healing stone. So she gets 5 more back. Yes, the venom burned. All right, so they continue on their way into the evening. So they stop for the evening once darkness falls, and it gets dark pretty early in this time of year. So they are going to stay the night, make camp. If I could ever find a 3 on this 20-sided. 3rd night. Let's see. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. All right, see if I have my favorite tile here. They make camp. Nope, that's not it. You know what? For fun, they're going to make camp in an old ruined tower. There you go. We're going to make camp in an old ruined tower. We're going to build a fire. It's all going to be wonderful. I have my fire thing somewhere. So there they are. Buckling, going down for night. Okay, so now we're going to determine, there's 4 watches. Each person has a watch. Actually, they're going to take 2 watches, 2 long watches, so of 2 people so they can keep each other awake. That's Grandin's rule. And now we got to see if it's going to be a monster or if it's going to be something else in the night. So 1, 2, 3 is a monster. 4, 5, 6 is another kind of encounter. It is another kind of encounter. So, going into my Dungeon Master brain. Sounds good. All right, so they are, so we'll see whose watch it happens on. Well, first of all, let's see if it happens in the early evening while they're still awake, or at night while they're sleeping. 1, 2, 3, early evening. 4, 5, 6, while they're sleeping. Oh, early evening. Okay, so they are settling down to make camp. And Kranos is like, I shall make the fire. Oh, have at it, big guy. Mr. Shiny Armor Dude. Yes, Harefoot, indeed. So he goes to start making a fire, and suddenly up out of the rocks and out of these wings goes like a little swarm of rats, and they all kind of screech. Ah! Grandin screeches, ah! And the rats flow by and fly out into the forest. And they're like, what? Oh. And Theo's like, well, boss, that was something. Yes, I'm so sorry you're scared of rats. I particularly like them. Yes, well, I was just slightly startled. Don't worry about it. Make the fire, Kranos. Let's eat. So they make fire. The night passes uneventfully. All right, into day 4 of their journey. I think, in the interest of time, we'll see how long this encounter. We'll see how the encounters go. I may end up having a cliffhanger in this. I don't like my episodes to get too long, but we'll see where we're at. All right, so we'll see what the 4th day brings. So, no encounters, because it's on a 1 or a 2 in these wild areas. So we'll move on to the 5th day. So they're traveling along. Theo loves to sing. He's singing. It's actually pretty pleasant, so they're not annoyed by it yet. So we're in the 5th day, and we have no encounters. And we go into the 6th day. And let's see what we have here. It's going to take 10 days. Very rugged, hilly terrain. No encounters. All right, good. Good. This part of the world gets a little bit dangerous. This is the 7th day. And we have an encounter during the day. Now, 1, 2, 3, it's a creature. 4, 5, 6, it's something else. It is something else. All right, so they come upon a statue in the middle of the forest. And Kranos says, beware. Nothing grows on that statue. Grandin's like, oh, yes. Yes, I think you're right. Nothing grows on that statue indeed. So what you're telling us is that there's something unnatural about it. Yes. Do not touch it. And so Claudia's like, but what if there's treasure underneath it? Do not be tempted, greedy fellcat. Hey, watch it, elf, pointy-eared. Yes, your insults mean nothing to me. I am warning you, do not touch that statue. Oh, well, we'll see about that. I warned you. Yes, but I'm tricky. So she walks up to the statue, and she investigates it. See if there's any kind of traps. Now, we're going to consider this thievery, so I'm going to give her additional 2 dice for thievery and her proficiency die. It's going to be a mind test, so that's 2 proficiency die plus her thievery dice. That is 5. And I'll make it a DL3 that she can sense something. And she says, yes, I think you're right, elf. Knight, sir. It is trapped, but it is a trap of a magical type. I think it might even be a curse. Are you sure you don't want to touch it, elf? Shut up. Let us move on. So they take off. So that was the 7th day. That night passes uneventfully. It began raining again on the 7th day as well. On the 8th day, it's been raining, been raining, been raining. Let's see if they have another encounter. They have a nighttime encounter. All right, let's see if it is during the day, or during the evening, or during the nighttime while they're sleeping. They're making camp. 1, 2, 3, it happens before they bed down. 4, 5, 6, after. So it's going to be after. All right, so they're going to watch in 2s. So Theo and Claudia are sharing a tent that they, makeshift tents that they have on their backs. And then Kranos and Granin will be sharing the other. Theo and Claudia are going to take the first watch. And so there'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 for the other two. It's going to happen on the other two's watch. So these two are bedded down under their makeshift shelters. Theo has to take off his armor to get rest. And so does she, so does Claudia, because she wears ringmail. So if there is if this encounter is a creature, well, yeah, I guess I have to determine whether it's a creature or whether it's, so 1, 2, 3, it's a creature. 4, 5, 6, it's something else. And it's going to be something else. So the two men, or the elf and the human, are talking. And suddenly, they have to make mind resistance rolls. Kranos, mind resistance 3. I'm going to say it's deal 3. So, Granin makes his, but Kranos does not. And they feel a tickle on their brain, and suddenly they feel very uncomfortable, but Granin shakes it off, but Kranos goes, oh, what is that? Yes, I felt it too, my good man. Are you okay? No, I'm very afraid right now. Very afraid. This place is cursed. This place is cursed. I feel as if my skin is itching, as if we're being watched from all quarters. Oh, sir, please, calm down. No. No, this is too much. I need to get away. No, there's nowhere to go, man. Get a hold of yourself. No, don't try to stop me. No, you've got to stop this. No. Oh, no. Kranos, do not run off. He's going to cast sleep spell on him. So, Kranos has a mind resistance 3 because he's an elf, so he's pretty resistant to this kind of thing. And the spell roll is pretty good. So that's 5 and exploding die. So 5. Kranos has a mind resistance 3, so that is enough to take him down. So he flops right down on his face. And Grandin drags him over and puts him in the tent and keeps the rest of the watch. And then warns the other two when he wakes them up that what happened. It was very strange. So to be wary and be ready. So, but it does not happen to them. Oh, they had the first watch. So yeah, he manages the rest of the first watch. He wakes up in the morning. Kranos has got his mind about him, but he doesn't remember anything that happened. Granin's like, oh my, very strange. So that brings us into the 9th day. And nothing happens. And then the 10th day, on their journey there, they're going to reach the delve as night falls, according to the map. And nothing, no encounters, nothing. It's as if anything around that delve, things are avoiding that delve. Okay, so they make their way to the delve, and they get to the entrance. And that is where I'm going to end this episode. So we had a travel episode. Those of you who watched some of my other adventures, especially my basic fantasy one, the Shattered Crown series, which, if you've never watched that, I think you really should. I think I do some really cool, fun gaming stuff in there. I love it. That story is really good, in my opinion. It was randomly generated for the most part. But anyway, so you want to check that out. But I call them travel episodes is the point. And so we traveled here. I think that worked out just about perfectly as far as encounter ratio and something a little different than just fighting every step of the way. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And when we get to the next episode, they'll be entering Ken Razor's delve. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And please come back for the next episode. Until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Magehammer out.